So hello everyone. I'm Inderpreet. I'm an analyst with ARC. Welcome to the Siemens workshop on making our workforce future ready. So we all know that technology is changing and it's changing very rapidly. But in our industrial world, we are a little bit slow to change. So how do we get our workforce ready for the present and the future when we have technologies like augmented reality, artificial intelligence, remote collaboration, IoT, Industry 4.0? How do we get our workforce ready? Well, one thing that we can all surely do is partner and collaborate with one another. Because this challenge that we face is not only limited to one particular company or one particular industry, it's faced by all of us in the industrial world. So today we'll take a look at one such collaboration between Siemens, MXT, and Dow. So without further ado, I would like to call over here Doug Ortiz. He is the DCS product manager with Siemens, and he'll take us from here on. Doug, all yours.
Thank you very much. Am I allowed to remain seated? Is that okay with the panel? I'd love to. Sure. All right, wonderful. Thank you very much. And so what we'd like to do is do a quick introduction. So my name is Doug Ortiz. I've been with Siemens for 15 years, all in Siemens DCS. But instead of giving you guys all the long bio and the reason why you should listen to someone like us, we've actually put our QR codes for our LinkedIn profiles where you can get our biography, our background information, or connect and do follow-up discussions. Maybe just a quick 2 seconds for you guys.
Sure. So my name's Caitlin Kelsey. I've been with Dow for 5 years now. I am a mobility engineer as a part of their digital operations center based out of Houston, Texas.
Good afternoon. Sina Cooper. I am the Senior Director of Projects at MXD, and we will talk a little bit more about what MXD is in a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So what you've probably heard a little bit is that this project about getting ready or taking our workforce, making them future ready, required a collaboration between these three entities, right? And so Siemens, as an automation supplier, obviously we want to be able to bring a solution that brings success to the market and help our customers be able to handle their challenges. But really, we need some challenges to work with, and we need a facility in which we can put a physical entity there and to do that. So MXD, well, we're using that term like we all know it. Sina, can you tell us a little bit about what MXD is and what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. And before I do that, who here has heard of MXD? Great. So it looks like maybe half. So MXD stands for Manufacturing Times Digital. And we are a public-private partnership whose mission is to increase U.S. manufacturers' global competitiveness. So we focus on a variety of things, projects. So this project is one of those items. We also focus on workforce, and we'll talk a little bit about that separately as well and what we're doing in that area. We also have a great facility with what we call future factory. So we have a floor where we test out a variety of different things and provide our members the opportunity to do some experimentation. And this project, we'll see some pictures, is on our factory floor in Chicago. So we welcome anybody to come visit at any point. So
thanks for telling us a little bit about your factory floor. And so now you can picture the stages kind of getting set. Now we have a location and a partnership where Siemens and Dow are top tier sponsors of MXD. And so Caitlin, now with a facility and these partnerships, and of course, Dow's a company looking to move forward in the digital transformation, what, from your perspective, are the drivers and the challenges that process plants are facing today in terms of, getting the workforce future ready?
Thanks. So to set the stage a little bit and give a sense of scale, Dow is almost 36,000 employees strong. We have over 100 manufacturing facilities in 34 countries, and we had about $55 billion in revenue last year. So Dow is very large, it's very sweeping, it's global. We have a presence pretty much everywhere in the world. And we turned 125 years old this year. So for us, we know that as a process industry manufacturer, we have some unique challenges in regards to elevated safety concerns or our long life cycles with our product management. But we also have a lot of challenges that are common throughout the industry. We're all on our own digitization journey. We all have an excess of data. Maybe we need to organize it. Maybe we need to clean it up. Maybe we need to figure out what exactly we need to do with it to extract value. So Dow came to MXD and Siemens to help try and understand how we can answer those questions.
And so as Dow's doing this at MXD, your mantra is also doing this. What else is MXD doing in this space for making the workforce future ready?
Great question. So in addition to providing funding for projects like this, we have a group, MXD Learn. So that is our workforce program at MXD, and we really focus on fostering collaboration across industry, academia, the government, and the nonprofit side to ensure that the current and future workforce are connected to the roles and competencies that are needed for both digital and cybersecurity manufacturing applications. One of the things that we are very close to launching is entitled our Virtual Training Center. So this will be an open edX platform where people can learn to upskill and take classes for free in most cases. So a great way to address our workforce.
So we got a plant floor that's trying to get digital ready. You've got a company like Dow trying to do that. What's been the journey like for Dow to kind of want to do this?
So technology innovation and digitization isn't necessarily brand new to Dow. We've seen a transformation in the last few years, I'd say in the last 5 years, where we've taken a lot of those really future forward facing minds and aggregated them and brought them together into core teams. So instead of having, some folks over in automation or some folks in operations that are writing their own VB scripts and solving their own problems and maybe doing a little bit of background IT, in the last few years, Dow has come together and taken those minds, gotten us in a single location. We have our digital centers across the globe now that are focused exclusively on trying to discover new technologies, figure out how digitalization will work for Dow, and how we can migrate that to a sustainable architecture. So not only testing out these technologies, but understanding what support looks like in the future.
I think that kind of transitions as well into this next part about support in the future. So hopefully this works well.
We don't do digitalization just for the sake of doing it. We do it with a reason in mind, to improve our customer interaction, to improve our profitability, to improve our manufacturing metrics.
You're seeing the introduction of new technologies. You're seeing those skill sets start to shape within our work processes. Digital twins, one of those that you hear a lot of buzz about. And again, that concept of really starting to create a model that can be used to understand all the different aspects of a plant. Again, the operations and the maintenance and the engineering and tying that together.
The mobile field worker is the way of the future. We want our field workers to have the information when and where they need it, and sometimes have the system actually anticipate what they're going to need. All of those design criteria have to be incorporated into the system in order for it to be acceptable, in order for the workforce, the field worker, the frontline operators and technicians to want to use it.
We don't have all of those dots connected yet. And how do we bridge from what we've used in the past to this new manufacturing 4.0 place in a cost-effective way?
So there you kind of get an idea of the challenges and the reasons why people want to do it. You don't want to just do digitalization. We did digitalization, we did a digital twin. You do it for purpose. And so we got the challenges. We have a facility, and now we need to actually demonstrate some use cases to show that we can do this. So you need to have a physical process in order to do that. Everything works well in a simulated environment, so we want to have some real hardware to do it. So we worked together with MXD and we said, you know what? A separation column is a very simple continuous process where we can have an oil loop, a water loop go together into a separation column, and obviously the oil will rise to the top. Water is heavier and sinks at the bottom. We can siphon that off and continue this to run that process, but then use all of the challenges and use cases to test that out. And so in the video, we saw a lot with like a tablet, and I know Dow talks a lot about the mobile worker. What's the vision for the mobile worker?
Great question. So I think that's a little different for everyone, but if you were asking Caitlin personally, what is my kind of Dorothy going to Oz best case scenario for what a future digital worker would look like? I would want to be able to walk into my facility and that day decide what work that I'm doing and have the tool set there and available for me, so that if I need work on a tablet, if I need to be in the field, if I need to see a lot of data, I can pick up a tablet, I can log in with my user credentials, and I can have that pervasive wireless and the data right there to be able to perform my tasks. And maybe that's different. If I'm in maintenance, maybe I want augmented reality. Maybe I know I'm going to need remote support in the field. But what it means is really to have the tools that are best fit for the job, and having it such that me trying to perform my job, I don't need to know about IT. I don't need to know how networking works. I don't need to worry about all of that background distraction from what my job is.
No, that's exactly right. So, but in order to get to that point, what you see on the separation column here, the mobile worker testbed at MXD, we have smart instrumentation. That's Industry 4.0 with all the diagnostic information that could go up to the DCS. The Siemens DCS is a web-based DCS, Cymatic PCS Neo, and it's built with modern technology inside. It's OPC UA by standard communication. So once the data's there, we could take it out to any other type of application that someone, maybe an operator, wants to see key performance indicators, maybe a plant manager wants to see the status of raw materials. And so that's kind of where we're able to meet those requirements, right? So maybe instead of describing it a little bit, we'll show you a little bit more of what it's like.
We've always talked about digitalization, and digitalization is very prevalent in the discrete manufacturing industry. Now we bring it to the process industries.
This is a great example of partnering with one of our customers, Dow, and with MXD to really bring real-world use cases provided by Dow into a place where customers come in and they can see exactly how digitalization can work for them. We can provide a huge spectrum of portfolio, from the instrumentation in the field to the networking that will connect it to the cloud, to the control system that can run their whole process operation.
What I see is a phenomenal showcase piece that gives us a space here at MXD to try and pull in other process industries, to be hands-on, to talk through our use cases and what the future of manufacturing 4.0 really looks like for process industries.
People's skill sets are changing over time, and we really need to make sure that we evolve process, which is a much more traditional industry, to be able to adapt to the trends that we're seeing in the overall marketplace.
I'm extremely proud to have been able to work with Siemens and DMC on it, and I believe this testbed really provides a space that we're going to build upon in the future.
It's practical, it's pragmatic. It's something that people need. It's what the digital mobile worker needs to do. It's what the process industry needs. It's connecting a process industry holistically on IoT and being able to use Industry 4.0 capability and advance everything that's done in this industry. And that makes it extremely powerful.
So we did it. Now we're done. I'm just kidding. No, so like really, okay, now you've got this piece of hardware with all these systems integrated together. What's Dow want to do with it?
So now what we have is, I don't really want to echo what you already watched the video, but what we have is a testbed that puts the mobile worker, that puts our people at the center of that digitalization journey. And that's the way we have to go about things if we want digitalization to be successful. What I love about this testbed is that it has a full stack integration, really, of digital solutions. And don't get me wrong, this was a greenfield installation, right? This was from scratch. We were able to design it with intent and purpose, but those modular pieces can be taken apart. We can take the digital twins that we have on board and we can apply that to certain use cases. We can take the mobile operator concepts and apply that. It's about gaining value along the journey and understanding whether what you need to solve first is maybe a work process problem in order to really set up those digital solutions for success. And so I'm excited to see how we can continue to build on the testbed, how we can continue to incorporate other modular digital solutions.
And so those are Dow's plans, but this is a facility at MXD. What's MXD's vision for this in the future, now and in the future?
So now, obviously it's part of our tour, so if you come to our facility, you can see it in action. We also are intending to open it up to other MXD members to allow them to sort of use it as a playground as well. So with their own use cases, working with Siemens to do whatever experimentation that they're interested in. In the future, we actually have a second, much smaller testbed that was a project that was initiated at roughly the same time that was really focused on an open architecture testbed. So one of our future plans included having the two communicate with each other to put a full system together to really show truly what's the art of the possible.
Any interest in open with Dow?
Absolutely. So, so Dow is also involved in the Exxon OPA consortium. We're highly interested in that area. We really think it's the way of the future when it comes to process automation. So being able to create this hybrid playground where we can make a Siemens solution that is OPA compliant to be able to plug in digital twins or control systems from other vendors to understand what we can do from a server hosted or cloud hosted perspective. What we're going to need to be able to bridge from what we have now, very brownfield, very diverse selection of control systems and automation to that future state really means being able to condition our data and have a playground to test that in.
So a lot of the things we talked about are interesting for basically all the stakeholders in process automation, and they may want to come to MXD in person or potentially virtual.
Yep.
How do can they just walk in?
Essentially. Yes, we do tours all the time, and we have regular contact with all of our members and anybody interested. So we have a team at MXD that Siemens has done a great job of training, and we welcome anybody to come and see what we've got.
All right. I think we want to open up time for questions. We were told we only had a certain amount of time. We've got one right up here. We've got a microphone in the back coming through.
Hi, I'm Dave Hake with Armis. We're one of your 300 members
Great.
at MXD. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to Dow in particular because, quite honestly, as the nation's largest chemical company, you have the resources to do all this yourself. And yet you're in OPA, you're in this, you're in ESG, you're on every department of X, Y, and Z. And so your leadership here is beyond self-serving. But all the strategic partners at MXD put like literally millions in it. And it's for the industry as a whole. And MXD's target is really 500-person companies that don't have a cyber team. They don't have a chief CISO, a chief engineer, a chief anything. And so it's a great learning environment. Again, we're in 2019, I know you did 10,000 visits. And then there was this thing, I don't know if you all heard about it, but the pandemic. But there's a dozen of this sort of display there. There's conference spaces. It's a great facility, in addition to the fact that you can go to your vendor's headquarters demo thing all day long. You don't always get, though, to interact with a company like Dow. And so again, thank you for your involvement in this thing. It's for everyone's benefit though. And like I said, I just want to kind of give it a pump up because we're glad we're part of it.
Did you slide him $20 before he came in here? No.
No, it was
honestly.
only 10.
No, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, or a great statement. Has anyone in this room been to MXD in the last year? It's been open, right?
Yeah, we've been open almost the entire pandemic with, safety protocols, of course. So, and a lot has changed over the last, I've just had my third anniversary at MXD, and a lot has changed since I started. So, it's a great place to visit, I would say, on an annual basis if you want to see what's going on. This test bed itself we did our grand opening, our ribbon cutting in July last year. So it's been almost a year. But lots of things change on a regular basis, which is great.
And thank you for the comment. I really appreciate that. While Dow may be large, we have one major thing in common with every other member at MXD, and it's that we have people and we need to give them the tools that they need. And we like to, self-reflect and say, Dow, we don't always know what the answer is, and maybe somebody else has already figured it out, and we can kind of pull those ideas together. And that, to me, is the best part of the collaborative spirit.
And the one thing I'd like to tag onto that is, for the last, 5-10 years, we've been doing digital twins, talking about, hey, we got to capture the knowledge of the workforce that's preparing for retirement. They're the 30-year experienced operators. They know every instrument in the plant, the low limit, the high limit, what trips this. But there's been something else that's been revolutionary in the past 6 months, 8 months, a little longer maybe, around retaining talent and the change in the workforce. People are changing jobs. And so when you talk about being able to have a system that assists a new worker to learn the processes as quickly as possible by having augmented reality to help you perform a work order, right? A year ago, you might have been doing something completely different, and now they're trusting you with a facility that produces, a lot of money and has a lot of time resources that are important. You may have tried to order something recently. The supply chain is very difficult, so you don't also have time for a new person to come on board and make mistakes. So how do you shorten that gap? We have to have the tools in line to support them as quickly as possible. And then we're talking about connecting data together. And so you need to be able to have all that information available on your tablet. You're the operator in the control room, and now you need to go out to the field, take that work with you, go right down, configure the process instrument. Maybe it's a pressure transmitter, needs some parameters, finish it, switch over to the DCS that's web-based, inspect and make sure that the HMI is going to get the alarm, switch over, look at the KPI. You don't have to go anywhere else. It's already with you. And so, and in today's, 8:30, kickoff, there was a great conversation about also attracting talent. The younger engineers, they like this digitalization. They like having data. They don't understand why things can't connect to each other. They just should. And so, the process industries is historically a slower industry to adapt to that technology, but we're catching up, and, companies like Dow are challenging their automation vendors to say, give us what we need.
Mm-hmm. It's true. The way we are learning is fundamentally changing. If you looked a decade ago, if you got a flat tire, you'd probably open up the manual, right, and try to figure it out. I don't know. But today, I would pull up a YouTube video. A couple years from now, I might just search something on my glasses, and there's probably some application out there that knows what kind of car I have and knows where to get the jack out and where the tire is and all of that kind of stuff. So we have to have tools that match the way we learn, that match the way we do the work. Because, like you said, the Great Resignation, the demographics of our workforce is changing rapidly.
And so it sounds very futuristic, but that stuff's actually there at MXD for you to go see and test out. And honestly, we'd love for you to go there, take a look at it, give us feedback, share your other visions. The one thing that we're also doing is we're running an internal project called the Future of Industrial Operation. And so if you consider yourself a visionary in terms of where you think the North Star is in 10 years in process automation, we'd love to have that conversation with you. We partner with companies to do that. Any other questions for those two?
My name is Kyle Phillips, and I work for Owens Corning. So I just have a question about change management. So as you've built some of this stuff and start to collaborate, I'm sure there are plenty of insights that have come out of working together. So can you talk a little bit about, how you take those things into a Frankenstein of 125-year-old assets mixed with new stuff, mixed with 30-year employees, mixed with 2-year employees, and make something come out of it that looks new, different, and works better?
Great question. And there are a lot of different ways that I could answer it, but I lean back on putting first people at the center of the problem. I think what we're seeing, and if you were in the talks yesterday, we heard a lot about the collision of IT and OT and understanding the way that a tool was designed. This is a little different. This test bed is unique to me because we took a bunch of IT tools, essentially, because it's data, it's transparency to your process, and we flipped it on its head a little bit and said, how do we optimize the user interface? How do we answer the what's in it for me questions for the operators? And that is significantly different with Joe, who's been an operator in Dow for 40 plus years. He's the only person that knows how to change this pump. He doesn't want to be told how to do it. He wants to tell you how to do it. Versus, I don't know, John, who's been there 2 years and he's fundamentally learned differently. He went through college, and in his courses, he had extreme convenience. You can submit your homework online. You can do it from anywhere. You can do it at Starbucks. And so it's an iterative process. It is about being extremely transparent. Dow has had a number of programs, one very large digital manufacturing program right now, actually. And what has been absolutely critical in developing those solutions, because you have to have IT at the table, you have to understand how you can support the systems long term, but you always have to have an end user at that table saying, wait, you're asking me to click how many times to get to something? No, that's not going to fly. And so it's meeting in the middle. It's having compromises, because very often if you say, well, this is why we designed it this way, most of us are very reasonable. We all just have our paychecks. We want to keep making products, making Dow great, right? But we're human, and we have to do the best work that we can now to build these tools, but understand that the state of the industry is such that most of these technologies are going to completely turn over in the next 2 years. So it's about gaining value now and doing that incremental step forward in all of these different areas. And it, over time, really builds a strong value case.
Do we have a follow-up question? Any last comments you want to make? Closing comments?
Please come to Chicago. Please come see this test bed. There's a phenomenal team. I would like to, thank again Siemens as well as DMC, who came in as the integrator on this project. They did an incredible amount of work, and they connected different systems in ways that we haven't really seen before. That brought in a lot of unique challenges and frustrations that I really appreciate that they were able to work through. And this test bed is a living system. Dow, we would love to have competitors come in, tell us their thoughts, give us alternate use cases, because MXD seems very open to continuing to develop this system as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say thank you to Dow for bringing the use case and the desire to do a project like this. And thank you to Siemens for bringing it all to life along with DMC. So.
For us, it's been a lot of fun, but the journey still continues.
Absolutely.
With your guys' future work, future thoughts, and of course, feel free to connect with us. And if you have ideas and things, again, don't have to wait to get to Chicago. You can reach out to us beforehand. Thank you very much for attending. And we've got a booth that's out there that was across from the bar from last night. So if you were there, you know where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you.